अबान जो है, अबान नहायत ही सिक्का है, क्योंकि मशाइख रिवात उससे हदीस नकल करते हैं। हमारे मशाइख रिवात जो किताब काफ़ी में, किताब दूसरे कुतुब में, तहजीब इस्तिफसार में बहुत बड़े बड़े मुअज़्ज़ज़ सहाबी जो असहाब इजमा में से हैं, उन्होंने अबान से हदीस नकल की है। ठीक है ना। तो वो शेख सिर्फ शेख के किताब में है कि अबान ज़ईफ़ है, और वो तवज़ीह नहीं देता कि अबान से क्या मुराद लेते हैं आप, ज़ईफ़ है, ज़ईफ़ ज़ाफ़ से क्या मुराद लेते हैं, हमें उनके जुमले का नहीं मालूम। लेकिन हमें मालूम है कि अबान नहायत ही सिक्का है, क्योंकि कुलैनी ने कहा कि मैं अपनी किताब में सही अहादीस नकल करूँगा, और उसके बहुत सारे अहादीस उन्होंने नकल की है। और इस तरह बहुत सारे जो मुअज़्ज़ज़ रुवात थे, वो उनके शयूख हैं, उनके उस्ताद।
Here is another report that is found in Kitab Sulaym, which gives us a sense of the kind of dirty mindset, polluted mindset, the Ghali and the Rafidi fabricator who invented this book and came up with its contents and then falsely attributed them to Sulaym bin Qais, what kind of mindset he had. Look at this narration. It's hadith number 24, and it's found on page 287 of the Qum edition that I was talking about, that's edited by Sayyid Zanjani, Muhammad Baqir Zanjani. Okay, here Aban narrates from Sulaym. So you can see the chain is the same chain that goes back to Kitab Sulaym. It goes through Aban. It goes to Sulaym. Sulaym says, Sami'tu Salman wa Aba Dhar wal Miqdad. Look at the chain. He's saying, I heard from three of these companions, from Salman, from Abu Dhar, and from Miqdad. Okay, pay attention. وَسَأَلْتُ عَلِيَّ بْنَ أَبِي طَالِبٍ عَنْ ذَلِكَ فَقَالَ صَدَقُوا. He says, after these three had narrated this narration to me, I went to Imam Ali bin Abi Talib alayhi salam just in case to confirm with him the veracity of this narration, and he confirmed it by saying sadaqu. He confirmed it by saying they indeed spoke the truth. So they spoke the truth. What is the narration? Here is the narration, which Salman, Abu Dhar, and Al-Miqdad allegedly narrate. They say, دخل علي بن أبي طالب عليه السلام على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم وعائشة قاعدة خلفه. Ali ibn Abi Talib entered into the presence of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam while Aisha was seated behind him. So the Holy Prophet is seated, and behind him, just behind him, right behind him, al-Mu'mineen Aisha is seated. وَعَلَيْهَا كِسَاءٌ, and she had a cloak on over her. Okay. وَالْبَيْتُ غَاصٌ بِأَهْلِهِ, the house was completely full of people. فِيهِمْ الْخَمْسَ أَصْحَابُ الْكِتَابِ, among them were the five people who are known as Ashab al-Kitab. Among them were the five who are known as Ashab al-Shura. فَلَمْ يَجِدْ مَكَانًا. So Imam Ali alayhi salam, because the house was full, could not find any place to sit. He wanted to sit down, but there's no place to sit. فَأَشَارَ إِلَيْهِ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَآلِهِ وَسَلَّمَ. So now imagine Rasulullah, the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, gestured towards him. He pointed towards him and he said, Ha huna. He pointed backwards and he said, here, meaning come and sit behind me. Remember, behind him, who is seated behind him? Aisha, the wife of the Prophet. But he is telling Imam Ali, come and sit behind me, where Bibi Aisha is. فَجَاءَ عَلِيٌّ عَلَيْهِ السَّلَامُ. So Ali alayhi salam came. فَقَعَدَ بَيْنَ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ صَلَى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ وَبَيْنَ عَائِشَةَ. So Imam Ali alayhi salam came and sat between Rasulullah and Aisha. وَأَقْعَى كَمَا يُقْعِ الْأَعْرَابِيُّ. And he sat down in the manner in which a Bedouin sits down. Al-Iq'a in Arabic refers to the way a dog sits. Have you seen a dog sitting down, the way it spreads its legs?
Two legs like that.
Yeah, basically. So Imam Ali, wal-'iyadhu billah, he spread his legs and he sat down, and the riwayah then says فَدَفَعَتْهُ عَائِشَةُ. So Aisha pushed him. وَغَضِبَتْ, because he basically ended up sitting on her. So وَغَضِبَتْ, and she became furious. وَقَالَتْ, and she said to him, أَمَا وَجَدْتَ لِإِسْتِكَ مَوْضِعًا غَيْرَ حِجْرِي. Could you not find for your backside a place other than my lap? Astaghfirullah. Can you imagine Imam Ali alayhi salam wal-'iyadhu billah sitting on the lap of someone like al-Mu'mineen Aisha, who was a non-mahram, obviously. She's a non-mahram for Imam Ali alayhi salam. For him to sit on her lap like that, and then for her to then have to push him. I mean, what kind of mindset can dream up things like this? But then I know even the traditional Shia watching this would be like, okay, so what was this Ghali up to? What is he trying to prove? This is what he wants to prove. He says, فَغَضِبَ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ. So the Holy Prophet became very angry because Aisha pushed Ali, so the Prophet became angry. وَقَالَ, and he said, the Prophet said to al-Mu'mineen Aisha, مَا يَا حُمَيْرَةَ. He said, what's the matter with you, O Humayra? لَا تُؤْذِينِي فِي أَخِي Ali. Do not hurt me in the matter of my brother Ali. فَإِنَّهُ أَمِيرُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ, because he is the leader of the faithful. وَسَيِّدُ الْمُسْلِمِينَ, he is the master of the Muslims. وَصَاحِبُ لِوَاءِ الْحَمْدِ, he is the flag bearer of the flag of praise on the day of judgment. وَقَائِدُ الْغُرِّ الْمُحَجَّلِينَ, he is the leader of the horsemen who have whose faces have brightness on them. يوم القيامة, on the day of judgment. يَجْعَلُهُ اللَّهُ عَلَى الصِّرَاطِ, Allah will place him on the bridge of Sirat. Allah is going to place Ali on the bridge of Sirat. فَيُقَاسِمُ النَّارِ, so he's going to be distributing hell. فَيُدْخِلُ أَوْلِيَاءَهُ الْجَنَّةِ, so he will make his friends enter Jannah. وَيُدْخِلُ أَعْدَاءَهُ النَّارِ, and he will make his enemies enter the fire.
You can see here that what they've done is by doing it on al-Mu'mineen Aisha is again, you know what's funny, because just the other day I was researching that some Sunni muhakkikeen have mentioned that whenever the word Humayra comes in narrations, that's a sign of fabrication. Sunni muhakkikeen have mentioned that in their books, that whenever there's narrations that the Prophet says Humayra, take it with the pinch of salt. So even that wording is important. That it's interesting they've used that word there. So yeah, you can see it's like a cover up that, you know, I'm not saying that necessarily that the al-Mu'mineen and Imam Ali had great relations. But what I'm trying to say is you can see what this narration is trying to do and kind of exaggerate on that issue.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is, if I can show you something rather on the lighter vein, there is the Akhbari website, when they're translating or when they're sharing the translation of this hadith.
I wonder how they go, how they're going to get around this one.
Right, so look at how they translate it. Hadith 24, the Prophet establishes the proof on Aisha regarding the right of Ali. So it's the same narration, Aban from Sulaym, who said, I heard Salman, Abu Dhar, Al-Miqdad, and I asked Ali bin Abi Talib about this narration, and he said they spoke the truth. And what did they speak? What did they narrate? They said Ali bin Abi Talib came to Rasulullah and Aisha was seated behind him. Okay, she was seated behind Rasulullah. And she had a blanket on her, and the house was full of its family members. Among them were 5 companions of the agreement and 5 companions of the consultative council, the shura. He, Imam Ali alayhi salam, could not find any space, so Rasulullah gestured to him saying, over here, meaning behind him. Ali went and seated himself behind Rasulullah and before Aisha, and sat keeping his body folded like the sitting of the Bedouins. So Aisha got angry and pushed him away by saying, you have landed yourself onto my nose. Nose, where did nose come from? Look at the Arabic text, it's very clear. أما وجدت لإستك موضعا غير حجري. It's very clear.
The translator's obviously he's clocked that this, I cannot use this word, so he's changed it to nose. But there's no.
No, I mean we can actually show. You can consult any Arabic dictionary. We have, for example,
even though said you doing this is a bit of a disrespect, because this is kind of your speciality about Arabic. But no problem, you can be the marja in Arabic who gives the lead. Go for it.
So
we're against Taqlid and al-Islah, so bring the Dalil, Sayyid.
Right. So this is basically the Arabic English lexicon of Lane. And as you can see, let me try to magnify it so that people can see what we are sharing. Right. So this is the dictionary entry on the word ist. Okay. It refers to the podex or the anus. Okay. And for those who don't know what podex is, perhaps
You don't know what anus is, regardless, right?
right. We can just show them quickly.
So there's no way that word can be known, basically.
Yeah, this is it. I hope you can see it on the screen.
We can see it. The
Yeah,
anal region,
the anal region or the rump. Wal-'iyadhu billah. And so basically what this narration is asking us to accept is that
Imam Ali went and sat on her.
yeah, Imam Ali alayhi salam went and placed, and she's basically telling Imam Ali that you have placed the ist on my hijr. Hijr is basically, we can also show you the entry on the meaning of hijr from Lane's dictionary. This is considered to be one of the most reputed dictionaries of classical Arabic.
Like I said, you still want to accept this book? Be my guest. Be my guest. Just know it comes with a lot of weight.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's got really crazy stuff that
you might prove Sayyid Zahara Shahada with this, but it's pretty much that's the only thing that's proved. The whole religion kind of falls down apart from that. But I guess for some people, if that is your religion, then
yeah. So this is basically the dictionary entry on what hijr is. It's the anterior pudendum of a man or a woman. The anterior pudendum, and for those of you who
the front part.
Yeah, the anterior.
I can see why they're saying lap. It's the front part. I get it.
Yeah, pudendum. This is basically a person's external genitals.
We're gonna have to make this show 18+. No children, to be honest.
Yeah.
After this narration,
Well, actually, the incident of the door narrative should also be PG-18.
PG-18, yeah.
But unfortunately, they recite it in front of kids, and they recite it in front of. I wonder the kind of damage that you're doing to young mindsets by narrating fabrications.
The damage is that once you question it, you're Dal Mudil. That's the damage, isn't it?
Well, how about if someone were to question this narration of Imam Ali alayhi salam, wal-'iyadhu billah? Because you see, it's not like, you can say, well, but the chain of this narration is not authentic.
That's
no,
my point.
Inside the book, you see, the guy who forged this book, he invented a chain for it that is perfectly. There is no way.
There's no way you can reject this and accept the Shahada.
Exactly. So this is hadith number 24. This is another translation of Kitab Sulaym. He has actually done a much better job translating it. So Aban narrates to Sulaym, and Sulaym narrates from Salman, Abu Dhar, Miqdad, who also got it confirmed from Ali ibn Abi Talib. So notice how if the chain up to Aban, and then from Aban to Sulaym, if you accept the chain is authentic, the chain of this book is authentic, then there is nothing you have to discredit this narration. Because from Sulaym onwards, look at who is in the chain. Salman, Abu Dhar, Miqdad, and Imam Ali is confirming it. Sulaym is saying that after listening to these three people narrating this narration, I went to Imam Ali and I asked him, is this really true? And he said that they all said the truth. And he confirmed the narration. And the narration has Imam Ali sitting, wal-'iyadhu billah, on the lap of al-Mu'mineen, and then she gets annoyed and pushes him and says, hasn't your backside got any other place to sit on except my lap? So now, this is the kind of khurafat and blasphemy and this, wallahi, presenting this is in itself something that I find so distasteful. Yeah. But the only reason I'm doing this, Sayyid Raza, is to awaken, to open people's eyes. Just as I want our people, our brothers and sisters, to develop some sort of ghaira and some sort of self-esteem and respect, whereby, just as it's mentioned for Abdul Razzaq, the great muhaddith and narrator, rahmatullah alayh, yeah, he was an early Shia, but well revered by Sunnis and a teacher of Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal. And when they mentioned Muawiyah bin Abi Sufyan in his majlis, he said, look, do not pollute, do not contaminate our pure majlis with mention of the son of Abu Sufyan. And so I wish our traditional audiences could also develop this kind of principle whereby they tell the scholars and the speakers who sit on the pulpit and narrate from a book like Kitab Sulaym to tell them that, look, please do not present us fabricated narrations from a book that has got, filth and nonsense of this kind. Okay, because
just because you want to prove, again, honestly speaking, I have husn azan for a lot of the Shia. I don't think they even know what this book contains. I think all they know about this book is Sayyid Zahra Shahada. That's an early source. Sulaym, we believe in it. I think if they had read this book themselves, they themselves would say, like, we don't believe in this.